Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. Don't adjust your audio or your monitor here. Yes, it is indeed Anthony Florio here, sitting in tonight for good old MF Michael Fletcher. MF will not be on the show tonight due to illness. Um, I'm not sure if Dee Dee Woodson will be joining us. I sent her an invite just in case. If she comes in, we'll catch her up on what she missed, or if not, then maybe we'll see them on Sunday night. But for right now, I am joined by the phenom Michael Bullock, and I got to be honest with you folks. But before I do that, just want to let you know this SmackDown review is not going to be long. I'm going to tell you that right now. But we are going to definitely get into the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that's coming up this weekend. Reason why I say this is not going to be a long review is because of the fact that I got to be honest with you. This show tonight was one of the most piss poor shows I have ever seen. I'm sorry, but this was absolute monkey crap, if I'm going to be honest with you. But then again, it's probably the damn monkey writers who probably took over this damn show anyway. So, not that many good moments, but, there were a couple of newsworthy moments, to be honest. So with that being said, let's dive right on in to this Go Home to Elimination Chamber edition of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, as always. And this show was the final show before Elimination Chamber, and that made it one of the more important nights on the road to WrestleMania 37. In the main event, the six men who will fight inside the Elimination Chamber to earn a shot at Roman Reigns in the Universal Championship would do battle in a six-man tag team matchup. Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, and Cesaro versus Jey Uso, King Corbin, and Sami Zayn. Edge wanted to make a statement before Elimination Chamber, and he announced he would open SmackDown. With two Elimination Chamber matches determining the future champions of red and blue brands, the Rated R Superstar had a major decision to make. Bayley invited Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the second ever edition of Ding Dong Hello. The WWE Women's Tag Team Champions have many future challengers, including Lana and Naomi from Raw, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez from NXT, by virtue of them winning the first ever Women's Dusty Cup. But SmackDown's Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks also had a beef with the champions. This show had work to do in building up Elimination Chamber, and everyone was sure to have their eyes on this big night. One of the few bright spots of the show was the opening segment, and in that opening segment, and it was the Rated R Superstar Edge, and he was then interrupted by Roman Reigns and his, along with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso as always. And then Lame Duck Man, Sami Zayn shows up, and that was pretty much all there is. Edge continues to tease a decision without delivering. However, this worked because it was more about Roman Reigns trying to convince the Rated R Superstar to choose him for his WrestleMania title shot. The two were truly intense facing off, selling the likely WrestleMania dynamic. Sami Zayn is entertaining every time out. However, it made very little sense for him to get involved in this segment. He had a six-man tag match later in the night and would not have wanted to get injured. Playing his hand early served no purpose to his strategy for Elimination Chamber. But this was definitely the segment of the night and one of the very few bright spots on what ended up, like I said, being a very, very lousy edition of Friday Night SmackDown. But out of respect to good old MF Michael Fletcher, and considering he asked me to fill in tonight, we will address the show as bad as it was. So that's all there is to say on that segment. So, Michael Bullock, come on in. At least we had this. This was one of the very few bright spots on this show tonight. Good opening segment, even though Lame Duck Man had to ruin it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to say this to you, Florio, but as much as I want to say I like the segment, I didn't like it. Because of if Lame Duck Man didn't get involved, then I would have said that this was the segment of the night. But Sami Zayn, being the Lame Duck Man that he is, had to ruin it. So you may like it, like the segment, Florio, but me, no. Nah, honey, nah, as Luigi PS3 says. So move on.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. All right. Now we'll get started on the matches here, and we definitely had a newsworthy development when it comes to this match here, especially in the post match. Um, it was Shinsuke Nakamura squaring off against Apollo Crews. Shinsuke Nakamura wins the match in 5 minutes and 55 seconds. But Michael Bullock, what happened after the match? Apollo Crews is now a heel. How about it?
Yeah, I mean the match. 1 star for the match, but yeah, the big story out of this: Apollo Crews is now a heel, and with what he did to not only to Shinsuke Nakamura, but to the Intercontinental Champion Big E, and you know that the war between these two is far from over. So nothing more to say. Florio, what's yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little more generous. 1.5 to 2 stars. Second best fight of the night. Cruz versus Nakamura was a fine match with limited story behind it. While the artist still looked to be working at a higher level, he did not click with Cruz at the same level as he has other recent opponents. However, this was ultimately about the aftermath. Cruz's brutal assault of Big E was special. It felt like a turning point where his character was finally realized. Big E sent him off by telling him to go back to catering. And it is clear that Cruz is done playing in the background. He finally feels ready to dethrone Big E for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And that could happen. We'll have to wait and see. But 1.5 to 2 is my effort. So not much more to say here. And then we had Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out and he cuts a promo. I'll say it like this. Now, this is from a professional standpoint. Seth Rollins has absolutely nailed his role as the cocky cult leader since his evolution, and it is fascinating to watch his evolution. His rhetoric is reminiscent of televangelists and even the 45th president. It works really well now that he has no help to back him up. It sells his delusion. It is great to see that WWE is fully embracing a rivalry between Seth Rollins and Cesaro. The two can be great together. And this is an opportunity to keep the Swiss Cyborg a major force on SmackDown after likely losing in the Elimination Chamber. But from a personal standpoint, I really don't like the Rollins gimmick. I really don't. It's starting to wear thin on me. And I mean, last week, when he came out to the Burn It Down and all that, I had hope because I thought maybe they were going to turn him face and they were going to maybe turn him back to that Rollins that was the frontline soldier of Monday Night Raw. But unfortunately, he's not that. He's just, I hate to say it, but another obnoxious heel. I mean, the show's already got enough obnoxious heels as it is with Corbin and Lame Duck Man and now Seth Rollins. Now that gives us 3 obnoxious heels that every time we hear them run their mouth about the same old wah stuff, it makes me want to pull my hair out and friggin' scream, if I'm going to be honest.
And that's why, Florio, why this show, I mean, lately has been going down the frickin' drain.
It's starting to become as bad as Monday Night Raw, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, Florio, the only good show right now is my show NXT. And you don't see NXT pulling any of that freaking crap.
Absolutely not. No way. Yeah, they have bad matches here and there, but
yeah, but you don't
see cool down fights and they serve purpose.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they're bad matches because it's cool down fights. But this and I don't know. This is why NXT is the best brand out of the 2 right now, and why people need to tune into that instead of this crap that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, well,
And whoever the freaking monkey ridders are for both of those shows, you need to wake the f up because it's WrestleMania season for gosh sakes. And if you
exactly right.
continue to give us crap like this, nobody's gonna want to tune into WrestleMania. People will
No,
have better things to do on both of those nights than watch crap like this.
absolutely. So
I
we're
mean,
just gonna
I
have to.
I personally, Florio, almost wanted to not even review this. I almost wanted to just basically let you run the whole thing.
Yeah, but MF asked me to do it, and you know me, I'm always happy to help out in any way, even if we're reviewing a garbage show like this. But it is what it is, and that's what we do here. That's it. So not much more to say. Let's move on. And now this is where the crap hits the fan here. Literally, this is really where the show started to go down the damn cliff right here. Um, Women's tag team matchup. We had the Riot Squad against Natalia and Tamina. Natalia and Tamina win the match 3 minutes and 5 seconds because of Billy Kay getting involved here. Distraction here. Um, Now, I honestly thought, years ago when the women's revolution started, I really thought that the days of the ho hum diva fights were done, and we were so excited about that. But I don't know about you, Bullock, but from what I saw, that was a ho hum diva fight.
Yeah, and you want to talk about loudmouths? Here's another one, and Billy Kay. I mean, I
Oh
have to
God,
correct
he's
you,
been
but
doing.
there's you don't have three, you have four of them on SmackDown.
Oh yeah. This whole resume headshot thing not working.
Yeah, and you're at the point of go away, Billy Kay. And I hope you're watching this because you are at the point of go away.
Yeah, do you really think any of them are gonna be tuning into this? No. This was an ugly
No,
match.
and because you know what they'll say? They'll say, "We know wrestling a lot more than these two freaking ham and egg jabronis do."
Don't make me laugh.
Yeah,
Any,
my thoughts exactly, Florio.
but I'm gonna sum it up on behalf of all of us. This was a dud. This was a dud match from the outset. It was only a couple minutes long, but Tamina did not seem to be working at the same pace as Liv Morgan. Natalia was clearly rushing with the limited time, and the Kay appearance was so frustratingly telegraphed. Billy Kay can be entertaining, but the Riot Squad, they can be a solid tag team for WWE. But this story is not working. It is time to find someone else for Billy Kay to work with, and Natalia and Tamina don't exactly cut it. Dud, move on. And you think it can't get worse than that. Oh, it does get worse than this. It does get worse. The Ding Dong Hello Show with Bayley and her guests were the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And then Reginald shows up. Reginald, this Hammenegger, you're going to shove this guy down our throats now? Oh, Malone. And then,
Oh my gosh.
oh no, Bullock, it gets worse. You think it does get worse. Reginald and Nia Jax, they start, jaw jacking and all this stuff. And what happens here? Oh my gosh. He he challenged. He said, "Hey, it's gonna. How about me, Bianca, and Sasha Banks versus you and Shayna and Bayley?" And they went ahead and booked the damn match. And Reginald scores the winning fall. Reginald scores the
Oh
winning
my
fall in
god.
5 minutes.
Oh,
Oh my Lord in heaven.
somebody get me a damn aspirin.
Oh boy. All right. Again, I will say on behalf of us, good. This was an odd segment. especially because of the involvement of Reginald. In just a couple of months, he has gone from help for Carmella to an odd infatuation with Sasha Banks. It made no sense whatsoever for him to get involved without the untouchable one inserting herself in the action. WWE has avoided intergender matches almost entirely in WWE, yet Reginald is just thrown in these random women's matches. This would make sense in other wrestling promotions, but WWE has seemingly set up a divide that it is breaking without explanation. Bayley was the best part of all of this. She makes every inch of her talk show set work. She sold the insanity with her frustration. But getting back to this Reginald thing, they're turning him. This is almost reminiscent of back in 2009 with Santino Marella. Bullock, you remember when Santino Marella was clamoring to get into that?
Don't get me going with that.
It's starting to remind me of that.
Oh, I was trying to forget about that, but now that you brought that up to me, now I remember that. Thank you very much for that, Florio.
Yeah, my apologies for that, but I was just making a point. That's all. But yeah, it's starting to remind me of that. It's starting to remind me of when Santino Marella was trying to get into that Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal, and unfortunately, this is starting to remind me of that again. And then later in the night, Carmella chastised him and threw wine in his face. So who knows? Maybe that partnership might be deteriorating. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But the point is, sorry, MF, this was another dud. I'm sorry. So not much more to say on this, but okay. Then we had Rey and Dominic Mysterio squaring off against Chad Gable and Otis. The Mysterios win the match via disqualification in a minute and a half because of Gable and Otis getting they didn't get out of the ring in time. Referee Jessica Carr counted to 5 and they didn't break the count, so Carr calls for the DQ. But yes, this was another dud. This was another dud match. Yes, however, something newsworthy came out of this. Apparently, Chad Gable and Otis have turned heel because after the match, Otis dove off the middle rope and dropped a big splash on Rey Mysterio. Well, but this could have been executed better, especially with more time, but it served its purpose. Gable and Otis have not fully worked so far. The reason was because it was unclear where it was going. Gable just seemed to be headed for a beatdown when Otis saw through him. Instead, it has moved in a more interesting direction. Otis is truly learning from Gable. He's clearly in better shape. Now his attitude is evolving as well. The two can be a good tag team if the two can work in sync, and that adds an interesting team to the division. It is a shame, though, that Heavy Machinery was broken up, just so that Otis could team with Gable instead. Tucker has more or less been discarded. When was the last time we heard from Tucker? I have no clue. It's been a long time. But that's all there is to say here. But Michael Bullock, Chad Gable and Otis. But Gable's been a heel before, but Otis? A heel? Wow.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how I feel this is going to work. I'm willing to give this a chance, but I don't know, Florio. Otis as a babyface, to me, it doesn't make any sense just because so many people love this guy.
Agreed.
So, I'm willing to give this you know what? I'll say this. I'm going to give this a week to see how it works out. If it doesn't, then I'll say it was a big mistake for them to turn him heel. So I'll give it a week, but if it doesn't work, then I'll say it's already a failure.
Well, how about we give it like a short-term temporary basis? Short-term temporary.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, because I'm actually intrigued. I'm actually intrigued by this. So who knows?
Yeah,
Otis as a monster heel could work. I would love to see Otis as a monster heel. So
but it's just hard to envision it with the way
No,
he is.
especially after last year.
Yeah, and you can only
You
imagine what Mandy Rose must be thinking.
that's a good question. I mean, like I said, it was at this time a year ago that Otis won the hearts of all of us in the IWC, the WWE Universe, the whole 9 yards, and
Mm-hmm.
and I predicted that it was going to lead to a big WrestleMania moment, and it did. We got the WrestleMania moment. It's just a damn shame that we couldn't have it in a big stadium full of fans because they would have marked for that. They would have.
Oh yeah.
Raymond James Stadium would have popped if and when the big moment happened. But anyway, match was a dud. But I will say this though, I mean, it's very intriguing. We'll have to wait and see. All right, the big main event, 6-man tag team matchup. The 6 men inside the Elimination Chamber. Edge was on commentary. But before we get into that, a new match has been announced for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler will defend the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship against the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. How about that? So
I'm telling you, I smell something happening in this match.
yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit for our chamber preview. I'm right there with you. I definitely smell a rat myself, but more on that in a minute. All right, now the 6-man tag. Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, and Cesaro squaring off against Jey Uso, King Corbin, and Sami Zayn. Winners of the match in an even 13 minutes. The babyface team, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Cesaro. Daniel Bryan submitting Sami Zayn with the yes lock. So yes, indeed. I think I'll start it off here. Hands down, the fight of the night. This was by a country mile, the fight of the night. I love the match. It was a 3.25 to 3.5 star match, but I do have some nitpicks. This was far from the level of impact that we got on Monday Night Raw with the Gauntlet match. However, it was a solid match thanks to Cesaro. He did the heavy lifting in this contest physically, showing out in a big way before the others got in their big moments at the end. The action did look a little too choreographed at times, especially given the wrestlers involved. It all built to Daniel Bryan gaining some momentum that was immediately overshadowed by Edge and Roman Reigns, building their rivalry past the wrestlers in the Elimination Chamber. While WWE should be building toward WrestleMania, it was a mistake to let the go-home show end with a moment that was not about the immediate pay-per-view. This makes it all too clear that Roman Reigns is going to successfully defend. Zayn losing me here. No. Anyways, the 6-man tag was well worked, but I can't say this or all of the Edge lip service segments with the chamber entrance moved me on the match. WWE would have had a hard enough time convincing the masses that any of the entrants would beat Roman in a straight-up title match, let alone beating him after they've gone through a full chamber match. But on the bright side, I am damn sure looking forward to the expected and rumored Roman Reigns versus Edge Universal title match at WrestleMania, because that's going to happen. So 3.25, 3.5, hands down the fight of the night. Not much more to say. Bullock, quick thought?
Yeah, 3.25, 3.5 on the match. I mean, I agree with you on everything you just said about it. So let's just quickly get into our overall thought, or our bad overall thoughts on the show.
Yeah, I feel bad because like I said, I'm sitting in tonight for MF because MF's not feeling well.
Yeah, if this was your show, you would have canceled it.
Yeah, but MF asked me to help out, and I can't say no. So, because I love and respect MF way too damn much. So, but I'll sit. But Bullock, as the late great Gorilla Monsoon and MF would always say, I think it's time to do a Pearl Harbor job on this show tonight.
Yeah, this was a This was and I'm sorry to use this word, Florio, so forgive me for what I'm about to say. This was a
Go ahead.
shitty show.
Piss
This
poor.
was a
Absolutely.
shitty show. I mean,
100% agree.
it's a it's right before your the Elimination Chamber pay per view, and you give us this nonsense?
Worst go
No,
home show I've ever seen.
yeah. And you think people are going to be tuned into the Elimination Chamber pay per view after what you gave us tonight? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. And you know what? Despite some of the good things we did see, I'm actually going to give this a 0 when it comes to this edition of SmackDown. So nothing more to say. Florio, what's yours?
Yeah, well, with all due respect, Bullock, I think that's a little extreme. We have every right to give it a 0, absolutely. But
Well,
I'm gonna
you have
I'm gonna
the
be a
right to
little
give
more.
it.
I'm gonna be slightly generous here. I'm gonna give it between 1.5 to 2 out of 10. Um, because of the main event. Main event was far and away the best match on the of Apollo Crews and Otis with Gable, and especially Apollo. Man, that was damn good. And we had one great match, one okay match, and then we had three absolute dud matches. None worse than that 6-person tag match. I mean, that was the it made the other two dud matches look like 5-star classics, for goodness sakes. And then, the opening segment was fine, even though Zayn ruined it. But yeah, I mean, not a good show. I'm sorry, MF. I feel bad, but this this is this is just how it is, and you know, it's hard to believe that about a month or two ago, SmackDown was putting on great shows. I mean, almost 2 months ago, Christmas night, they gave us one of the greatest SmackDowns we ever saw. Almost a perfect 10 out of 10 show, because that's how great it was on Christmas night. Oh, how the mighty have fallen in just a span of 2 short months. We went from getting that incredible show on Christmas to the worst go home show I have ever seen. And man alive, I mean, Monday Night Raw is not any better, but I mean, it's not overwhelmingly better, but Raw was definitely the better show this week. And but like Bullock said, his show NXT. I mean, especially after that incredible takeover Vengeance Day last Sunday night. I mean, with all the rave reviews that got, I mean, the average score was like 9.5. One reviewer even gave it a perfect 10, and rightfully so, because that event was incredible. This, however, this was back to reality as it gets. This was the epitome of the words "back to reality" because this was reality, and we got hit in the face with it. But with that, I do have I do have a good feeling about the chamber though, because the chamber matches almost always deliver. There's only been maybe one or two bad chamber matches in the history of it, but I got a good feeling about both of these chamber matches coming up. So, but yeah, Bullock's giving it a 0. I'm not going to knock him for it. I mean, he's got every right to do it. I mean, I've got every right to as well, but I'm going to be just a smidgen more generous, 1.5 to 2. But we definitely do agree that this was, if I could describe this show in one word, the one word would be hoofa. Hoofa, man. Oh my gosh. Man. Clean yourselves up, SmackDown. That's all I'm going to say. Clean the show up. That's it. So, not much more to say. Now let's get into what I know you all want, what you all have been waiting for, our preview of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And it will go down this Sunday night from the WWE Thunderdome at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. And since the moment it debuted in 2002, the Elimination Chamber has evolved into one of WWE's most iconic matches. The structure makes its return on Sunday at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view and represents one of the final major stops on the road to WrestleMania 37. The Chamber will be lowered twice at the event, once in a WWE Championship match and once with 6 men from SmackDown vying for a shot at the Universal Championship. Adding an extra layer of drama to the proceedings, the winner of the SmackDown Chamber match will receive their title shot against Roman Reigns on the same night. So, and this will also be the final pay-per-view that will stream exclusively on the WWE Network before the WWE Network merges with Peacock a month from now. So that'll be on March 18th. So with that being said, let's get into our predictions here. We only have 5 matches. We only have 5 matches on the card. We were supposed to have 6, but one match we truly believe is going to be removed if it hasn't been removed already. We were supposed to have a Raw Women's Championship match between Asuka and Lacey Evans, but after the bomb that Lacey Evans dropped this past Monday night on Raw, announcing that she was pregnant, which we thought might have been a storyline angle, but no, it's legitimate, and it's because of that the match is obviously going to be thrown out now. I don't know if they're going to do anything else with that, if they're going to have a replacement, or if they're just going to give Asuka the night off. I don't know. We'll see, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that come Sunday night. But for right now, we do have 5 matches on the card, and let's start with the match that was just added here tonight. For the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending against the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and a winner of the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble match and perhaps her opponent at WrestleMania, the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair. So with that said, let me just see something here. As far as that Raw Women's title match goes, while WWE has not officially announced the cancellation of the match, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter confirmed that the match will not be taking place. So yeah, you got to believe that. So, all right, so take that match away, and let's get into the Women's Tag Team title match up first. On the fly booking here, but yeah, this is tough to call. I mean, my gut is telling me to go with Nia and Shayna to retain, but why do I have this sinking suspicion that we could get a hot shot booking here? We could see Sasha and Bianca win the women's tag team titles and make that program even more interesting than it already is. And I know that would make MF happy because it would bring the women's tag team titles back to SmackDown because Sasha and Bianca are SmackDown talents. So, but there is, you remember I said I smell a rat, and I smell a rat because I think there could be a possibility that we could see possibly Sasha turn heel here, maybe go after Bianca or vice versa. I don't know. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But let's not forget that Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez won the Women's Dusty Classic, and their reward for that is a future WWE Women's Tag Team Championship opportunity. Last time I checked, they were heels, even though they kind of acted like baby faces the other night when they got in the face of Nia and Shayna, which made for a very entertaining segment, by the way. I got this feeling they're gonna they might want to do a hot shot booking here. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna pull the trigger, and I'm gonna say the winners and new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Let's spice that program up and make it even more interesting. So, with that being said, Michael Bullock, do you agree with my little theory there, or do you think that the champs are still going to be the champs?
I think the champs are still going to be the champs, and the reason why I think so, because I think, like you even said yourself, Florio, I think Sasha's going to turn on Bianca Belair, and it's going to really set up that matchup at WrestleMania with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title. So I'm actually going to disagree with you, and I'm going to say winners and still the women's tag team champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. So nothing more to say, Florio. It is yours.
Okay, fair enough. Let's get into the matches that have already been announced. As of now, it's scheduled to be a triple threat match for the United States Heavyweight Championship. Bobby Lashley versus Riddle versus Keith Lee. But there is some rumors going around about Keith Lee's injury status. I don't know if he suffered an injury or what's going on with him, but I don't know. But that's definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on. But Bullock, as of now, it is scheduled to be Lashley versus Riddle versus Keith Lee, triple threat match for the United States Heavyweight Championship. So, Michael Bullock, let's start it off with you here. Bullock, are you there? Oh, we lost him. All right. I'll just take it for a spin until he comes back. There are reports Lee may be out of the match, which would be a shame. But it feels like WWE is really heating Lashley up for something bigger, and losing the title could propel him to bigger things. Lashley has been out of control since the Royal Rumble, and Riddle has repeatedly felt his wrath. Losing the title here could push Lashley over the edge into a new level of rage, which would serve Lashley even better than a title that has largely been misused during his reign. Okay, we got Bullock back in. Bullock, your thoughts on Lashley, Riddle, and Lee for the United States Heavyweight Championship as it stands as of right now? It just depends on Keith Lee's status.
Yeah, like you said, it depends on Keith Lee's status, but yeah. But to me, I'm actually going to go with Bobby Lashley to retain the United States Championship. So yeah, yeah. Now you can go right ahead, Florio.
Yeah. Like I said, this completely depends on Lee's availability. Um, I think he could be the one to ultimately take the title off of Lashley. Though Riddle really should be the one to finally beat Lashley, given their long-term feud. Um, if Lee does win, it delivers less of a blow to Lashley's status, given his own large stature and how strong he's been booked to this point, with Riddle likely serving as the fall guy, potentially starting a feud between them for the title down the line. However, if Lee is not available, this remains a situation where the title should change. WWE could potentially push a change off until Lee is available again, but I think it could happen one way or another at the Chamber. So I'm going to go with Riddle to win the title. But if Lee shows up, then I think Lee could get it. But, we'll wait and see. But I'm going to go with Riddle becoming the new United States Heavyweight Champion for right now. Now we're going to get into the 2 Elimination Chamber matches. First up, the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre defending against Sheamus, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, and Kofi Kingston. There's not really any drama here outside of how the match could play into McIntyre finding a dance partner for WrestleMania. It's hard to imagine he is losing the title in the Chamber. Randy Orton is busy with other things. Jeff Hardy isn't really at a world title level anymore. AJ Styles is great, but not winning the title here. Same with Kofi Kingston, even though a rebirth of Kofi Mania a la 2 years ago. And that leaves Sheamus. And while the story between Sheamus and McIntyre has been interesting, Sheamus as WWE champion makes no real sense here. So with that being said, for me, I got to say the winner and still the WWE champion, the Scottish Warrior, and the real frontline soldier of Monday Night Raw, far better than Seth Rollins ever was, Drew McIntyre. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts? Bullock, are you there? All right. I don't know if we've lost Bullock. We might have lost him. I don't know, but but um, but anyways, let's move on to the other elimination chamber match. This is the number one contenders elimination chamber match for the right to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn versus Cesaro versus King Corbin. And there's three options coming out of this match, not only because of face heel dynamics, but based on storyline. The simple truth of it all is that Corbin and Zayn have no momentum toward a match with Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso has already been done multiple times. That narrows it down to the faces. Bryan has been on his back so much recently that he lacks the necessary momentum here. And given the winner will be facing Reigns at this pay-per-view and not WrestleMania, it would make no sense to throw that money match away. That leaves Cesaro and Owens. The Owens feud has been done to death, and I see this serving as a reprieve for both men with them linking up during a fill-in match at Fastlane. Instead, Cesaro, who has taken 2 wins over Bryan and a few others recently, will get his first World Championship opportunity in a spot where losing will not damage him due to fighting 2 matches in one show. So, and also, there's not much to be interested in with Owens getting another title shot. Bryan should not get wasted one-off title shots either. And it's hard to see Zayn, Cesaro, or Corbin getting the win, rather. Where things could get interesting, however, was with Uso managing to steal the win. Would he lay down against his cousin later that night and give up another chance to become champion? Or would he risk it all and find himself facing the wrath of the tribal chief? But I am going to go with Cesaro to win this match and get a long overdue championship opportunity. So that's really all there is for me to say on that. And that'll lead into the what I think will likely be the main event of this show, unless they do the chamber stuff. Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against the winner of the chamber match, which I think it could be Cesaro, but then again, you can make an argument. Okay. All right, Bullock's back in. Bullock, your thoughts on the chamber matches, the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match and that SmackDown Contenders match?
Yeah, I got Drew McIntyre basically retaining his championships. So then who'd you have winning the?
Well, for me, it's a toss-up between Cesaro and Owens. I mean, you can make an argument for Kevin Owens. They probably want to give him one more opportunity, but I don't know. There's something in me saying that maybe Cesaro gets the opportunity, considering the role he's done.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with Cesaro because I mean, look, we've seen Owens and Reigns going at it for so long, but maybe it's time to put somebody else into it.
Agreed.
And I think Cesaro is the perfect guy. So
I agree.
Yes. Yeah, so there's literally nothing more to say.
All right, so we both agree on Cesaro winning the chamber match, but obviously he's not going to beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, though, right?
Yeah, we're both going with Roman Reigns to still be Universal Champion.
Yeah, it seems entirely unlikely that Reigns will lose the title even for a short program before he goes and wins it back at Fastlane. There's too much to be done with a program building the Reigns versus Edge at WrestleMania. There's a lot of drama to be had in a Jey Uso win, especially if he chooses to actively give it a real go and try to win the title, leaving Reigns to decide if he wants to remove Uso from the family for his insubordination or keep around his biggest backup ahead of his match with Edge on the biggest show of the year. And as much as fans would love Cesaro to win the Universal title and beat Reigns for it, there's just no way that happens on the road to WrestleMania. Perhaps this serves as a showcase that will allow Cesaro to get a rematch down the line once we get past April, but it's not going to happen here. In fact, it doesn't matter who wins the chamber. Reigns will walk out with the title with a clear path to Mania, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Edge blindside him with a spear before the show goes off the air. So yes, winner and still Universal Champion, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. All right, so that will put the bow on this this interesting edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Shout out to good old MF Michael Fletcher, the host of this show. We hope you're feeling better, and hopefully we didn't really. I'm hopeful that we didn't offend him by our opinions here, but you know, it's just that, you know, tonight's show was just so horrible. It was just so bad. I'm sorry, but you know, but if we offended UMF during this, we definitely do apologize. But you know, we got to be the men who tell it like it is. So that's all there is to it. So but with that being said, we'll be back with you on Sunday. MF said he should be back on Sunday, and hopefully we'll have MF back. Hopefully we'll have Didi with us as well, and we'll get into our review of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view following the event. Monday night, of course, Ridiculously Raw, provided that it's a good show. And then Wednesday, we got Wednesday Night Mayhem, and then with AEW and NXT, and then Thursday, we got Strictly Sports with not much of a docket. You know, we're going to talk about the NHL outdoor games this weekend and Brian Dozier's retirement. And, of course, the main event will be the revealing of the NBA All-Star rosters and starters. And then this show next week. So with that being said, until Sunday night for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view recap, this is Anthony Florio for the Phenom Michael Bullock. And most definitely in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Didi Woodson, and of course, always in forever, FKG 401, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, and have a blessed weekend. And until Sunday for the Chamber pay-per-view recap, you've been watching this special and interesting edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.